Welcome, everyone. My name is Christy Ashton, and today I have the privilege of speaking with David Robb, who will answer the question, what is a customer data platform? Gartner recently named customer data platforms one of the 4 technologies that have the capability to transform how marketers run their business and deliver meaningful customer experiences. In today's Ascent 360 Marketing Shot, we'll find out why. We are extremely lucky to have David Robb here with us today to help us understand customer data platforms. David is without a doubt the world's foremost authority on CDPs. Since naming the category in 2013, David has made it his work to educate marketers about what a CDP is and how it fits into the sales and marketing ecosystem. David is also an accomplished author, speaker, and industry consultant. Welcome, David. Please tell us about CDPs.
Thanks, Christy. It's a pleasure to be here, and I would be delighted to tell you about CDPs. So let's start off with why. Why bother with the CDP? And there are kind of 3 reasons that you want to bother with the CDP. The first is that your customers are expecting this unified, consistent, tailored, personalized, fabulous experience because they've been trained by people like Amazon to expect nothing less. And you, of course, as a marketer are more than happy to deliver that, but the only way you can deliver that is by having this fabulous, unified, consistent customer data, because the customer data is what tells you what's special about each customer so you can give them a personalized experience. So step number 1 is customers are expecting you to do this, and marketers are delighted to comply if they can. The second reason that we need CDPs is that this unified data that we need is not available in things like data warehouses, which is traditionally how companies tried to make use and unify their internal data. I've been around for a long time, of course. Data warehouses and now data lakes, but they just don't quite solve the problem. They're really custom projects, so they are very hard to build. They don't necessarily do what marketers need to do. They take a long time to build. They're just kind of not cutting it in today's world where we have so many new data sources. Things are moving so quickly. And the third reason that we need a CDP is that our other systems that do manage customer data are designed for other things. So your CRM system is designed to manage one-on-one interaction with, say, a call center agent or a sales agent. Your marketing automation system is designed primarily to manage outbound campaigns, really email campaigns. Your data management platform is designed really to push audiences out to social advertising and social media. So they're all built, other kinds of systems too, but they're all built for a different purpose, and they're really good at what they do, but they're not good at doing what the CDP does. So let's talk about what a CDP is in some more depth. Definition of a CDP from the CDP Institute is packaged software that creates a persistent unified customer database accessible to other systems. So let's parse that apart a bit. Packaged software is the first part of that. That means simply that it's something you buy. It's not a data warehouse that gets built custom. It's not a data lake that gets built custom. It's not a component that your IT department has to assemble for you. The CDP is a pre-built system that's configured to meet the needs of each client, but it's just a matter of configuration. It's not a matter of custom development. There's a big difference there in terms of how long it takes to get something together and how mature it is when it reaches you, because you're building on years of experience for other clients rather than having to start from scratch with something you build internally. This certainly reduces the amount of technical resource that's required to build the CDP. It also reduces the amount of technical resource that's desired to keep it up and running. There's still going to be IT department involvement. You're never going to get totally independent of the IT department, and nor should you. They're the stewards of your company's data. They are very important players in this. But as a marketer, you do want to kind of minimize the amount of resource that you're asking them to provide with you, and the CDP does that. That's what the package software really implies. The second part of that definition, persistent unified customer database, is pretty complicated, has several elements to it. So persistence is the simple one. It simply means we're storing the data someplace. And that's important because you want to look at things like trends over time or track individual customers as they change addresses and get new emails and get new phones and things. You have to store that data someplace outside of whatever source systems are generating the data in the first place, because the source systems don't necessarily keep the old stuff around if they don't need it for their own purposes, or if they do keep it, they might archive it off somewhere. So you need to have that stuff really easily accessible. So that's persistence. Unified customer database means that it's unified in the sense that data is coming from many different systems. It's unified in the sense that it's being pulled together into customer profiles, and then it is being made accessible for other systems to use. So to be a proper CDP, you've got to pull in your data from all your sources. You've got to keep all the original level of detail, or at least have the option. You're not really going to keep everything, but you want to be able to pick and choose. You don't want the system to limit you in what you can store, because you often do want certain things to be very detailed. You want to store that data for, again, as long as you want to store it, which won't be forever, but could be for much longer than, say, an operational system would need it. And you want to do that linking of matching the different customer identifiers. So those are all part of being a persistent unified customer database. And then the third term, again, is that accessibility to other systems. The CDP is designed to let other systems use its data. So that is different from systems that are designed to maybe build a similar database, but are not intending to share the database that they built with anybody else. So the CDP will share data through extract files, just pushing data out to other systems. Preferably it shares it through APIs that let the other systems request the data directly, and often, but not always in real time, or to make queries against the data, again, to get the data out of the CDP sort of however they need it. Some CDPs will have additional functionality to take the data and put it in a different format, like a specialized data set or specialized file structure, or maybe different database structure that other systems can use. It's all about making the data reusable, shareable, so that you can build this complicated, complete customer database once and everybody gets to use it rather than everybody trying to build their own. Basically, there's two things you do with this data. You use it for analysis, and that's the more common application, or at least often the first application. I've never had a customer view assembled before, so let me look at customer journeys and customer value and cohort behavior and all sorts of cool things that are important to analyze that I simply couldn't do before I had a CDP. And secondly, beyond analysis, I want to do stuff with the data. So I want to manage interactions. I want to run campaigns, pick lists for outbound campaigns, manage inbound or real-time campaigns interactively in real time. The other thing that's implied by accessibility is that I can take the data out and I can transfer it between systems. So if I want to change email systems, I don't have to worry about how am I going to get my history data out of the old email platform and how am I going to import it into the new email platform. And often that's so much work people won't even bother to change. They say, it's just not worth the grief. So having the CDP store that data off sort of on the side and kind of a safe harbor lets you change those other systems and focus on getting the email system that's best at sending emails, and not worry about, is this email good at storing customer history? I have a different system to do that, so it actually makes it easier for me to swap out other systems and buy the best functionality in those other systems. So let's just summarize here. So we talked about the definition of a CDP and sort of the implications of that. An overview of what the CDP does is it does what this picture here shows, right? It takes data from source systems, Over on the left, my website, my email service, my e-commerce, my customer service, my order processing, third-party data, lots of places I might get data. It pulls it all together and unifies it to create a single source of truth with that complete unified customer profile. And then it shares that data out with any marketing system or other system, doesn't have to be just marketing, that needs it. So my email, my social, my web advertising, pay-per-click advertising, surveys, whatever systems I have that will benefit from having this shared data source can pull the data out of the CDP. So they're all using the same data. So they're using complete data, they're using up-to-date data, they're using data that's really the best possible data to service their needs and to let marketers service their customers.
Well, thank you for that description. There really is so much confusion, and I appreciated how you clarified that a CDP is good at taking data in, processing it, and making it accessible. Um, just out of curiosity and in your experience, David, how transformational do you think CDPs are compared with other marketing technologies that you've seen?
Well, I think CDPs have the potential to be extremely transformational. If you talk to marketers today, and again, every marketer we know wants to do that unified customer experience and that personalized customer experience, but their data is almost universally fragmented. 80, 90% in most surveys will tell you that they don't have their data as organized, as unified as they'd like it to be, and they can't do what they want to do without that. So the CDP gives them the potential, the platform, or the foundation to do all these great things. Now, it doesn't mean they're going to do it. It doesn't mean the CDP does it for you. It just means it gives you the opportunity, the ability to transform everything else that you do. So the CDP has the potential to be transformational if the other pieces are in place, and the other pieces are both technology pieces, because you have to have delivery systems that can use the data at the simplest level, but also organizational arrangements where different departments will cooperate, training, so the people in the company know how to use the CDP. So there are other things that have to change to take advantage of what the CDP does, but without the CDP, none of those other things matter because it's just not possible to do what you want to do.
Well, thank you, David. Thanks for providing marketers a concise understanding of what a CDP is and what they can use it for. Interestingly enough, the next Ascent marketing shot will be about personalization, something that you can really honestly only do well with a CDP. But if you'd like to learn more about CDPs, please contact David at the cdpinstitute.org. If you'd like to learn more about the Ascent 360 CDP, you can look us up at ascent360.com. That's it for today's marketing shot. David, thank you very much.
My pleasure.